get assigned to me, and here's another problem in the newspaper, 24 hours, and especially in this, go like this, you come to me expecting a story, and when you interview me and it's not there, now what do you do? What if it was assigned to you by your editor, and there's nothing there? There's nothing there. What do you do? Make something up, exactly. Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story, okay? Just, So I just my perspective from an outsider that deals with the media every day. But read the MDJ online. You'll see me in there. And then when you see something wacky, call me and say, did that really happen? Yes, sir.
Fact checking on the MDJ, I saw something earlier about, it was about the SPLOST, about the referendum, saying that you had spoke to Cobb County residents or whoever and said that you were in favor of like a reversible toll lane on the highway as opposed to like a light rail.
Mm-hmm.
That's true?
Yeah. What had happened is the state of Georgia is proposing a dual reversible managed lanes just to the west of 75. What that is, and have an ingress and egress lanes at non-traditional points. Meaning that if you're coming up 75 inside the perimeter, you're coming up north of 75, you'll be able to get in a lane that takes you over into a dedicated 2 lanes, heading north in the morning, or heading north in the evening, south in the morning. They will use tolls to manage flow. The purpose for managed lanes is not to have tolls to pay for, it's to guarantee travel time. You're not going to get on a toll roll and pay $3 to travel the same speed you would have on a non. The only reason you're going to pay $23 to get from point A to point B is if you can get there in a time that you sure. So, let's say, how many you guys don't have any kids? Anybody have kids? You have kids? You could daycare?
No.
No.
Older.
Well, okay. Well, you know that back when they were going to daycare, you had to pick them up at 6 o'clock, and it was $5 a minute. Okay, now if I got the option, I'm running late, I got the option of paying $3 to get on that to know that I'm going to be there in 5 minutes, or $15 when I'm 10 minutes late. It's a deal. So it's a quality of life decision alternative for folks. Now Georgia was going to build that. Georgia State of Georgia was going to build it. In the TIA that we talked about, the transportation referendum, I'm recommending a transit alternative from ARC stations up to KSU. So basically, when it gets built, you guys will be graduating on. But in 10 years from now, the students, if they want to go downtown, they can walk over, get on either a light rail or a bus system, and go all the way down to the ARC station, and vice versa, or if you commute. And I believe we don't need another lane of traffic. There's no room. I like the managed lanes because it gives you a guaranteed alternative. I like light rail, or I like the bus rapid transit, which is dedicated lanes up and down 41. That's an alternative. But what happened is, when I was making the list in August, I put in there the light rail and well, not the light rail, it ended up being bus rapid transit, which is buses, the express buses on dedicated lanes, because I knew that to do reversible lanes were paid for by the state. So we approved the list in August. In November or December, the governor pulled that project funding out, jeopardizing the completion of that dual reversible lanes. So I went down to the Capitol, did my grandstanding as all good politicians did, and declared and required and asked the legislators to allow me to transfer money from the referendum, the bus rapid transit system, over the dual rail or the dual reversible lanes, because I thought those were a higher priority to build first. In other words, if you're expanding on the existing, structure, you don't want to go from a single, like if you're building an airline, you don't want to go from a single engine plane to a jet. You go. So the natural progression was, we have our lanes, we built lanes, we're going to go to dual reversible tolls or managed, then light rail, or then buses, and then light rail. That's a natural way to expand a system, unless you already have the density already. But for our scenario, so when they unfunded it, I said I prefer this over that, and wanted them to fund it. So that was interesting.
And that'll be kind of like set in stone. Like if we voters, approve the 1% or the 1 penny tax this summer, then would they actually be paying for the manageable
told them that I believe it's wrong to do what's in the TIA before they do the legislation. The governor assured me personally that that'll be funded before the 31st. And you're asked to do the vote. So I can't constantly ask you to consider this alternative. It's like I designed a list of projects. It's like I designed putting a roof on my deck, assuming you were gonna build a deck.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not building a deck, my roof ain't gonna be very good. So I can't, in all serious consciousness, say, you know, go ahead and build a deck. We'll build the roof anyway, because we'll get around to the deck eventually. I mean, it's just, you know, backwards. So that's where that whole discussion came up. But the governor says it's gonna get done. No reason not to believe him. Time will tell. Time will tell. What else?
The only thing about that though, is that it's no guarantee. Even if you, which I would never do, get on there just to be, you know, honest. I'll just leave where I gotta go earlier and work that out. But for the people who can't afford to do that, there's no guarantee they hop on this, they pay the $3, whatever the case is, that they're not gonna get into that traffic. You understand what I'm saying? Even though it's supposed to be free flowing, is, you know?
There's gonna be a certain amount of trust that has to be earned by constant results.
Yeah.
And the only way that's gonna happen is if you're skeptical, which I appreciate very much, especially after just what happened in '85. So if I'm skeptical about the results, but over the next 6 months, you hear from friends and reports that maybe you might try it.
Yeah.
Now, what I would suggest, like for instance, my bus rapid transit system that I want to put into Cobb County, for me, what I'm going to do for the first 60 days, I ain't going to charge you a penny. I'm going to get you, when I get that built, I want you to ride that train for 60 days, or that bus rather, 60 days free. Because I want you to have the opportunity to experience the highs and lows of commuting via bus, so that when we get ready to charge you the $350, you know, that makes sense, or that doesn't make sense, or you know what, I did get more work done, or I was able to read or sleep, or whatever it is that was important to me. But if I ask you to pay, it's like, you know, it's like free trials that you get, you know, from dishwashing detergent, or, you know, you're trying to get a person to try your product, then when you get them hooked on it, then you screw them. So, you know, it's marketing 101. I learned that in New York. Get them hooked. All right, so. What else? What else is on your mind, guys? Wednesday night, here at KSU, one of the finest, second largest university in Georgia, larger than Auburn University. KSU is larger than Auburn University. It is crazy. We ain't got no stinking football team, but it is undefeated. It is undefeated, but it's coming. I hope you guys do that. I know you do. I'm working with Dan Papp to help make it happen, so doing my part. Need you guys to do yours.
Where's this, where specifically is that, or the two, there's two.
Yeah, there's two tunnels. If you look at, I'll look at Cobb here, on this here. The first one goes from up, right, the thinnest part in that blue, which is District 2, down to where that 20 is on the yellow part. The other one runs basically parallel along this Douglas County over here, going from here this way. So this one runs down that way, this one runs this way.
Okay.
Follows, what does it follow?
What does that follow right there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Follow it?
No, what I'm trying to get you is, if you're gonna build in a pipe to hold sewer water, what is it, what does it have to follow naturally?
Have to follow, river.
Well,
The slope of the land?
Slope, there you go. Slope. Cause remember, we jumped, I think, back in the river.
Right.
Where's the river? Lowest point. So, all the tunnels are built so they follow the terrain so that they flow, man, trying to get the flow up, but we learned that a long time ago. Flows downhill.